Meet the Roblox YouTuber that was so horrific he ended up in jail. He would even try to return to YouTube after he got arrested, but today we will be looking at exactly what happened. Now, if you don't already know, NapkinNate is, or at least was, a Roblox YouTuber with over 850,000 subscribers who used to make videos on Roblox Jailbreak, but little did anyone know at the time, but NapkinNate would be the one who ended up in jail. But before we dive deeper, make sure to subscribe with notifications on to help me reach 50,000 subscribers and to never miss an upload on my channel ever again. So if we take a look at his channel, we will see that he hasn't uploaded in a very long time. And at the time, this was a sudden shock to his fans who were just curious to find out where he has gone. And to start everything off, we have to take a look at his close associate, who was also another Roblox YouTuber known as Gooby. And if you didn't know, Gooby would be exposed for some horrific things. But the real question was, how did Gooby and Nate even meet in the first place?
So I met Gooby a long time ago before I started YouTube.
Spotted at Super C.
I met Gooby a long time ago before I started YouTube, and this is the story how I remember it. We were actually playing Apocalypse Rising, and I was in a warehouse, and I think he was like hatching the walls, and me and my friend, this is when we were little noobs, so we were scared, like, what is this, who is this person? And then I think Gooby was typing in group chat, it's me. But yeah, that's how I met Gooby. We met on APOC.
They would meet on a game called Apocalypse Rising, and ever since, they had been collaborating with each other on each other's channels. At this point, NapkinNate had already transitioned over to Roblox Jailbreak content and was quickly rising as a popular Roblox YouTuber. He would get so popular within the community that he would be invited to join the Roblox Star program, which if you don't already know, is basically just an affiliate program where you get a creator code as well as many other benefits. However, slowly and slowly, Gooby stopped appearing in NapkinNate's videos, but he would feature in a surprise appearance in this video titled Tesla Roadster Madness in Jailbreak.
So today, guys, we're gonna be doing some Tesla Roadster madness in Jailbreak. And as you guys can see, Gooby is back for this video, so if you're hyped for that, go ahead and leave a like on the video, and let's go ahead and start the madness.
And many people were glad to see him back on the channel. However, the fans wouldn't realize yet, but this would be the last time they saw the two collaborating with each other in a video. This takes us to 2020. We had the pandemic, and it was honestly a great year for anybody who was aspiring to be a content creator, but NapkinNate would treat it different. His uploads became very inconsistent, and he was slowly pulling away from the YouTube channel he had spent his whole life building up. However, thankfully he would give a reason for this, stating that it was because he had to move house. But the real reason behind his disappearance will shock you and was very unexpected to anybody who watched him.
Wondering why I haven't uploaded a video in almost 2 months? That's because I'm in the process of moving houses right now, and that's what's taking a while. But once I've done that, upload should be back to normal.
Which takes us back to his close associate at the time, Gooby. According to my research, this would all start with a meme that NapkinNate had sent to Gooby. The context was unknown, but if I would have to guess, it was in the middle of some sort of argument. This would cause Gooby to react in a very aggressive manner, claiming that he was done with how NapkinNate had been acting and treating Gooby, with Gooby going on to ban him for allegedly stalking him, even making a public statement regarding what happened, reading, "I removed Nate from my life. I don't want any more of his stalking or abuse." Another alleged reason that Gooby cut ties with NapkinNate was because he stopped paying Gooby, as Gooby had been employed by Nate at the time. Anyway, back to exactly what happened between the two creators. As of now, Gooby had cut ties with Nate and made a statement against him. However, because of the behind the scenes drama, it would cause Gooby's associates to start attacking Nate directly and making claims against him that he was some kind of stalker towards Gooby, as well as calling him a hacker, and even threatening to raid Nate's Discord server, with Gooby even banning all of Nate's associates that tried joining his server. However, what I'm about to reveal next is shocking. Nate would make the claim that while Gooby and him met up IRL, Gooby had set up cameras in Nate's room and was stalking his every move. And after this was circulating behind the scenes, Gooby would deny ever meeting with Nate IRL and even made the rumor that Nate was stalking Gooby. However, this was later revealed to be a lie, and Gooby just wanted to spread it in an attempt to make him look like the good person in this situation. However, what would come out of this would make Gooby look a lot worse than just stalking someone. This is because shortly after, Gooby would be exposed for being a horrible and disgusting Roblox. We will get to that in a minute, but this is important as in the description of a response to the allegations that were against him, he would state this regarding NapkinNate. I hope NapkinNate is doing well because he was a good friend of mine even if we split up. And if Gooby's claims were true and Nate was actively stalking him and making shit up about him, why would Gooby then go back on everything he claimed just to call Nate a good friend? The situation was definitely weird, but it was obvious to the audience that Gooby was taking advantage of the fact that Nate had stopped uploading to YouTube in order to lie on his name and make himself look better as a large-stitch effort to save his career. But before we go into exactly how much of a monster Gooby really was, we must first look at a controversy that NapkinNate had found himself in during 2020. This was around 1 month after his last upload, and he would get into drama over allegedly not paying a UGC designer for some random siren head model. It would start with Nate asking the designer to make this UGC model since the original was copyrighted, with the UGC creator exposing his last messages with Nate that pretty much show he was getting ignored despite the fact they already agreed on a deal, ending the conversation off with, "You know, I would at least appreciate some closure instead of running away with the hat like that," then realizing he had been blocked or unadded by Nate. However, after this was trending on Twitter, NapkinNate would release a response to the whole drama. He would state, "I decided not wanting to go through with uploading the hat due to copyright issues. I'm still in communication with everyone who made the hat, and I'm going to pay all of them for their time they spent making it. I cleared my Discord friends list, I didn't block him." However, the community did not respond to this well at all, and would criticize him heavily for not responding or even paying the UGC designer straight after it was revealed. And after that controversy he got himself in, he would release a message to his Roblox group that read, "Join to be in a winter up."
Love Roblox?
Release a message to his Roblox group that read, "Join to be in a winter update video," teasing a potential upload after December 2020. However, this video would never see the light of day. From Gooby lying about him to him receiving backlash for the UGC situation, things were looking like they were on a downhill path for NapkinNate. And all of these different factors would lead him to quit the platform, with his last ever online sighting being a Discord message in the public jailbreak Discord looking for a jailbreak code. However, what if I told you it gets so much worse? I mentioned earlier that NapkinNate had a very close associate of the channel at one point, being somebody known as Gooby. Well, after quitting and going ghost, Gooby would continue to lie on Nate's name as well as trying to funnel supporters from his channel over to Gooby's. He would use the support of his and Nate's fans to promote several horrible Discord servers. This Discord server would allow doxing on multiple occasions. They would also allow people to post very illegal images of people that are way too young, and allowed the content to be posted in a public Discord server that he had been promoting to both his and Nate's fans. Just your classic unmoderated chat type behavior. But what if I told you that Gooby was aware of all of this and not only made excuses for the things people were sending, but would even join in? After this was all exposed, more horrific messages that came directly from Gooby would be revealed, like him talking about and what he would do to certain aquatic animals, and even made several remarks to try and justify as well as child exploitation. And no, that's not just it. He would also excuse the images people sent in the Discord, making the excuse that on is legal, as if that would make it okay, and would make disgusting comments about other server members' underage siblings on multiple occasions. Gooby would even post this illegal content to the Discord server that had a lot of in it. More absolutely horrible and despicable things would come out about Gooby, but I highly suggest to watch these videos if you want to watch a full in-depth explanation to everything Gooby has done, because trust me, what I have shown is only the tip of the iceberg. Anyway, Gooby was funneling NapkinNate's fans over to this disgusting server after Nate had quit YouTube and suddenly gone ghost from everybody. And with everybody talking about Nate when he wasn't even there to defend himself, as well as legal trouble that would stop Nate from even talking about it, Gooby would leak a mugshot of Nate that would lead everybody finding out the truth about exactly what happened to him. This would lead people to find out the details of the arrest, exposing that Nate had been arrested for charges of domestic violence with an incident that occurred with one of his family members, with the bond being set at $500. And I'm not going to speculate as to what happened with that situation because it still hasn't been confirmed, but up until this point we had heard nothing surrounding him. But this was until 2023 when he would mysteriously update his Discord username. However, nothing else would be revealed. But the rest of 2023 really wasn't good for Nate. This is because he would get arrested on several occasions, with his next arrest being the worst one yet, getting charged with van theft, moving traffic violation, resisting an officer, and fleeing from the police. He would then get charged not even a couple months later for burglary, with his mugshot looking like this, showing everybody that based off his physical appearance, his mental health had been deteriorating. His hair was overgrown, his beard was untouched, his eyes were going in opposite directions. A lot had changed since we last saw him. However, it wouldn't be long before he got himself into more trouble, getting arrested later that year for trespassing, with his updated mugshot looking even worse than the last, with another mugshot being leaked of his arrest during 2025. And look, I'm not going to speculate on what happened and whatnot, but it's pretty clear to anybody that his mental health spiraled downhill quickly after stopping YouTube. If this was a result from what was happening online, we don't know, or if it's because of the rumored problems with his family, we still don't know. But what we do know is that there is almost no chance that we see NapkinNate returning to the platform even if he wasn't in jail. Or will we? In 2025, a couple days after the mugshot was taken that I just showed you, he would randomly come back to Discord with these messages teasing a return to YouTube and requesting a designer to make a shirt to tease his return. The designer would go ahead and make the shirt, but he is yet to return to the platform. From making jailbreak videos on YouTube to being in a jail cell IRL, today we looked at the story of NapkinNate, his controversial history, and the sad state he is in as of today. He had admitted to getting therapy in the past, and it's clear that since then, things only got worse. But as always, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy